All right, everyone, it's the last day of November, and of course, we weren't going to let this day go by without getting a news video out to you because, of course, in the final day of the month, we happen to have some pretty interesting news, including some sales data actually for how well Nintendo Switch 2 has been selling this holiday season in the month of November in the United States. We also have some minor details on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and I want to warn, the game is leaked out there and all this stuff, and this does come from somebody who got their hands on a retail copy, what we're going to talk about today, but I'm going to tell you right now, it is not spoilers, so we're not going to sit here and spoil anything about the game, but it does answer a question that people have been having about a key character that people seem to not like too much, at least some people. Lots of controversy around this character anyways. There's a key question answered about this character today, and I want to make sure that we go over that because it may ease your mind or make you more upset. I don't really know how you're going to react. I happen to like good old Miles McKenzie, but not everyone does. That being said, we have one other story to go over in addition to that, guys. It's going to be a great day. I also got to say, this is it. This is the last day for this set. So Mr. Pumpkin back here, the real life pumpkins as well, the Halloween/fall themes. Yeah, they're going away. The orange on the lights. Like, look, guys, we're entering Christmas season. So tomorrow the set will be entirely different or something. I have no idea. I actually don't even know how I'm decorating it. I haven't even gone through all my Christmas stuff. We don't even have our tree up upstairs yet, so I don't even know what's going to happen. Obviously, you know, we already have sort of a holiday-themed thing on the TV, but we'll probably go with an even more extreme Christmas background. All right, enough babbling. You guys aren't here for that. What you might be here for is, hey, look, guys, we hit 160,000 subscribers a bit earlier this week, and now we've fallen off a little bit. We've lost like 10 or 15 subscribers. Happens. I haven't been putting out regular content this weekend. Again, I've been dealing with a lot. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but my dog had emergency surgery on Saturday, and he potentially has cancer. Very emotional for me to talk about it, so I don't want to get into it. He's in the prime of his life. He's not towards the end, so this is devastating, as that's not why we thought, or not what we thought was wrong with our dog Link. Yes, named after the Legend of Zelda series. So any well wishes you guys have for my dog. He is home with us. He's good. He's on medicine. He's feeling great right now, but that doesn't change the fact that we're not going to know for a couple weeks if he has cancer. So let's go ahead and maybe change that tune to something a bit happier. It is the holiday season. You guys know we love to do giveaways around here, and we have 3 copies of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate as well that we're giving away. You know, by the way, there's a link down in the pinned comment description. Why did I even bring up, not the link, but the 60,000. Oh yeah, because we're under 160,000. So yeah, I would love if you guys would subscribe to the channel. Little scatterbrain, as I said, been a really long weekend. All right, let's go ahead and then just get into what we're here for, the news. All right, Nintendo Switch app for mobile has been updated, and there's actually some handy updates in this. Although, if you're using iOS earlier than iOS 16, the app no longer works. So that part kind of unfortunate, but here is the update that was dropped the other day. The app no longer supports iOS versions prior to iOS 16. iOS devices must have iOS 16 or later to be compatible with this app. The notification you receive when a friend comes online has now been updated to include the name of the software they're using if applicable. This is how it works on Switch and Switch 2. This is now how it's going to work on the app as well. You can now send friend requests to users you chatted with in a game chat session. So if you were like with a buddy who invited some friends in and you want to add that friend to your friends list, you can now do that right from the app. You can now copy the hashtags for a software title. They can be done from the details for a screenshot or video. You can now create a Nintendo Switch app album in the iOS Photos app. To use this feature, enable it from settings in the app. So basically, your Photos app in iOS will have like its own album specifically for like Switch 2 and Switch. So like when you're adding photos, you know, that you've screenshotted on your system to the app, it can now be in that album. So you don't have to actually open the app itself to view the photos. Very cool feature. Fix an issue that sometimes causes the order of screenshots and videos to change when downloading several at once, and other small bug fixes have also been made. Again, this is just mostly great stuff. Obviously a very iPhone specific update, but as an iPhone user, I really appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead and go over some more good news for Switch 2, and that is because more games are now having their backwards compatibility fixed. So this follows the system update that was earlier last week, but this, you know, it's just more games that have been fixed. So a new firmware update for Switch 2 earlier this weekend has now been followed up with compatibility fixes. So we're seeing Doom and Doom 2, Guardian Tales, Nier Automata, the end of Yora Edition, Skies Above, Sugar Dew Island, Super Mega Baseball 4, and Time Spinner. And this is apart from this, some problems with certain other titles have also been identified. So they've identified new issues with games that they weren't previously aware of. So this includes an issue with Sports Party. We're waiting on the title screen for half a minute. Can apparently create an issue. Resident Evil 4 and Blades of Darkness also supposedly have some progression issues. And yeah, they're probably going to, update those in the future. They're just, had to identify the problems to know there's a problem in order to go in there. Nintendo does have a small dedicated team to fixing all of these little bugs. So it's just good to know. Now we're going to dive a little bit into Metroid Prime 4. This first bit is nothing about answering questions. Merely, it's noting something that I was very shocked to find out. I posted this over on X, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Switch 2 edition, the Switch 2, not Switch 1. Pre-orders are sold out at Target online. Didn't even realize this kind of thing could still happen in 2025. And there it is. This is right off my phone, off the website. Oh, maybe this is off the application. Either way, the point is, there it is. It's sold out. Pre-orders have sold out. Now, again, pre-orders have not sold out at Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy. If Costco has it, I'm sure it hasn't sold out there either. So I'm not acting like this thing is sold out everywhere physically, and again, just the Switch 2 version, not the Switch 1, but it is a sign that, the game seems to be doing pretty well. It is number one on the eShop, of course. With Nintendo not necessarily providing all the data for that, we're not quite sure what that means to be number one, other than, well, yeah, you're the best-selling game on the eShop in the last few days, but what does it take to be number one? How many unit sales do you have to have? But it does seem to be there's some momentum going for Metroid right now, and so we'll have to wait and see if this translates into anything. And speaking of Metroid Prime 4, we're going to keep this story going because this user over on Game Collecting picked up these games over the holiday sale season, and you see a game in there in the middle in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond that wasn't supposed to be available yet. We know retailers have been breaking street dates. This is nothing new, but as you scroll down, they provide some information here. So it says some good news on game prices, but the GameStop buy two get one is once again the main deal at play, especially with them matching Black Friday prices like Sonic X Shadows and Princess Peach. But what a lot of people were asking about yesterday was Metroid. For some reason, my local game store had it out on the shelf, and I was able to secure a copy. Luckily, the game works, and I've put in about 5 hours or so, making my way through the first sections and bosses. Overall, it's very much a new Metroid Prime game. Great thing. Bosses are fun, graphics are great, and it controls exactly how I'd want it to. The only caveat is Mackenzie, the character who all the reviewers fretted over. Seems to be a mainstay and not a tutorial exclusive. While this is disappointing, he comes up very seldomly outside of the first section and not at all when you're in the main sections. I'm certainly annoyed about it, but it's not game breaking or anything. It's shaping up to be an awesome game otherwise. So again, no real spoilers here, but it's just kind of like, hey, even if you don't like Mackenzie, yeah, he's there, but he's not like the whole time. So the annoyance kind of fades off once you get past that tutorial area. And for those that love Mackenzie, you'll probably be happy to find out, hey, you are going to interact with him and hear from him throughout your adventure, but, maybe not as much as you might want. It kind of depends on what your desires are with that character. And just to show proof that the person actually has the game beyond that screenshot, because obviously you could print off a fake cover and put it in a Switch 2 case. Here he is holding his Switch 2. You can see he's clearly already loaded into Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and he's in airplane mode. Battery almost depleted as well, probably because he's been playing a lot of Metroid Prime. But the airplane mode makes a lot of sense because that is how you prevent Nintendo from finding out that you're actually playing the game before it's supposed to. Now, I'm not saying this user should get in trouble for doing that, but people do worry that Nintendo might ban your system, even if temporarily until the 4th. And yes, I get it. You might as well just play it safe while you're playing Metroid Prime 4. It's not an online game. Just turn off the internet, go airplane mode. Nintendo still has the data anyways when you turn the online mode back on. Maybe his plan is just to keep it offline until Thursday or something. Again, I don't think he should get in trouble because now he stole this copy or he's pirating it, right? He bought it from a retailer who chose to sell it before the street date. That's on the retailer, not the customer. We've seen issues like this in the past. Nintendo's typically always cleared it up, especially when you can provide proof of purchase, receipts to customer service if something does happen. So I don't think he's got a lot to worry about anyways. But, better safe than sorry, not having to deal with customer support. All right, last story here is actually just about how well Nintendo Switch 2 has been selling, at least here in the United States, because look, we don't have the official data, right? Circana will provide some data next month, and they may or may not provide numbers. They provided numbers for last month of 328,000. We don't know if they're going to provide exact numbers again for November. It's on the table. They could, but we could at least get a pretty good idea of how well it sold in the U.S. At about the middle of next month. But Nintendo's going to have all the data for worldwide. So, like, how well it sells is just going to be Circana data for the U.S. And that's what we're talking about today. Because as of today, we're able to prove on the final day of the month, we're able to prove how many units, or roughly how many units, have actually sold on Amazon of the Nintendo Switch 2 this last month, and it's actually a pretty good number. So Nintendo has it over here, #1 best-selling console on Amazon, 100K plus bought in the last month on Amazon, not even on sale. Like, it's not on sale, you're paying full price. And you go down here, you can see him showing the screenshot of the proof here. You know, you can see the 30K plus that bought the Switch 2, the 70K plus that bought the Mario Kart World Bundle. I went and verified this myself on Amazon. You can as well. That's over 100,000 units just on Amazon. Obviously, we don't know how much over 100,000. The point is, it's over 100,000 units just on Amazon. There was also like 600 or 100 units, I think, sold of the Legends EA bundle, which wasn't in stock this month. They never got a restock. Amazon did. So if you happen to see the Pokemon bundle out at other stores, good for you. It doesn't look like it was restocked for November. That being said, 100,000 units just at one retailer. Yes, it's the #1 online retailer, but this doesn't count online sales for Target, Best Buy, Walmart, and all the rest, GameStop. Obviously, it doesn't also count in-store sales as well, which, you know, I know from my own experience, the shelves in-store were a little bare, if we're completely frank here. When we go look at this post I made the other day, just showing an image of what my local Best Buy, that's what this image is from, is my local Best Buy, was looking like. It's quite fascinating because obviously you're seeing there's 1, 2, 3 units in here. I don't know if you can quite tell this from the photo. There's 3, but these are all just standard edition, no bundles left. And these ones, if you're wondering, on the far left, these are original Switch units. They had like 4 of those left or whatever, and then obviously a bunch of Switch lights. They just left the cabinet open because it's Black Friday. People are just buying like crazy, but obviously they put security tags on everything so people can't just steal the device, right, and walk out the store. Makes a lot of sense. They also now have demo units, which is actually new. They didn't have these demo units a month ago, which is why I never bothered to go to Best Buy to play Metroid Prime 4 Beyond demo. Turns out, yeah, it does have the demo. I did play it. It's really good. That said, this is how pretty much all the retailers were for me when I was out shopping on Black Friday. That's when this photo was taken. I went to Walmart. I was at Target briefly, Best Buy, and GameStop at the local mall. And GameStop was completely sold out. Best Buy was down to these last 3 units. They had no more in the back. And then Walmart and Target both were either out or low. I think Target had 1 left on the shelf, but I didn't ask the employee if they had more in the back, so it's possible they might have had more. Walmart was completely sold out, my local Walmart. Now, we have multiple Walmarts. I think the other Walmart had 10 units left when I called them, just out of curiosity. Wasn't actually looking to buy a Switch 2 for the holidays. I already have one, and I do have family that want one, but okay, it turns out it was a good decision that I didn't buy any because my dog, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, needed emergency surgery the next day, so that vet bill was quite large. That said, really, really happy to see this stuff. Happy to see that the Switch 2 seems to be selling well. And the reason I'm happy isn't because I'm Nintendo. I don't get any of the money from any of this. It's because the platform doing well means it's going to continue to get support from third-party studios. That's what I'm really excited about, is to see the expansion of third-party support on the platform, the Call of Duties that are eventually going to come. Obviously, we have Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'd like the next Assassin's Creed to be day and date. I would like to see pretty much everything come to Switch 2. And the #1 thing to convince people to bring your games to Switch 2 isn't just how well your games sell, it's also having a massive audience to sell to. So really excited to see what these sales numbers are in the United States, see if Switch 2 has continued to chug along quite well, or maybe the sales are disappointing. You know, yeah, 100,000 units. My local stores, probably sold out at this point on Sunday until a restock comes this week. Yeah, so look, a little disappointing. It never sold out online, by the way. Want to be honest, it never sold out online, so you can still go online and buy Switch 2s right now. But yeah, I think it's been selling fairly well. But we don't know. We know at least 100,000 units, which is, 1/3 of what is sold last month from one retailer. I suspect it's north of 500,000. My guess is somewhere between 700,000 and 800,000, but it's just a guess. We don't actually have any data yet. And December tends to usually be the bigger month for sales in the US. It's quite interesting how that works, considering like Black Friday and Cyber Week. I guess Cyber Week begins in December, right? I guess. So I guess for online shopping, and online shopping tends to be more popular than in store. So maybe that is actually a bigger driver. But either way, folks, this is pretty interesting, and I want to know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. I am Nathaniel Rumpeljans from Nintendo Prime. This is our final video of the month of November of 2025. We're entering the final month of 2025. That means 2026 is right around the corner. It means we only have four, is it 4 or 5 podcast episodes left? I'm trying to look at my calendar here. I'm like, wait a second. How many days are actually left? Yeah, we have 4 episodes. Wait, no, 5 episodes, sorry, of the Nintendo Byte podcast left before we get to the end of the year. We got some special stuff planned for the holidays and all this stuff. Guys, I'm just really excited. I don't know how else to state this. I think it is a really neat thing that we're doing here on YouTube, and I'm glad you're here for that journey. And I appreciate all the likes, all the comments, every view, the super thanks and super chats and all that happens sometimes. Thank you guys. See you next month.